Can you hear me now? Do I have sound now? All right. Hi. Thank you guys for coming in. Bar, meet Mark. Mark, meet Far. Um, I'm sorry about that. I've been talking this all the time with no sound. Yeah, fuck cancer. So far, this year alone, cancer has taken out a friend of mine's dad, and then we just started the year. And we heard earlier Tiffany Marie's son, as of yesterday, passed away from his bout with cancer. And Miss Ann Horn has now went on hospice. And she's fighting again. No, we are not going to bring everyone down. I'm just letting everyone know what's going on. So, this case, is this connected to I don't want to share it that way. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to share this real quick. Because I don't want to share it through that one. Can you hear my train? Hey, Brat. Will you do me a huge favor? Will you let that thing that's clawing at the door in?
Mom, what if it's a skinwalker that ate midnight and turned into midnight?
We shouldn't use that term around this household.
We'll be aight.
Oh my God, y'all. Yes, my child.
I'll fight it. Nothing's truly invincible.
You know what? It doesn't say his name. It should be fine.
What doesn't say his name? His name?
Yours.
Oh.
I was debating, did I share this? It doesn't say your name. It just has that photo. So.
What are you sharing? And why would you check to see if it has my name?
Because it's your Facebook. Think about that. Oh my God. I love him. I do. I really, really do. Is it sharing it? There we go. And that ain't gonna work. Let's go ahead and maximize it. Hey, and that way I can read it. Maybe. Mary Davis was found murdered in Davis, Oklahoma on June 19th, 1972. Her case remains unsolved. Mary was found by a neighbor in her home in the bathroom. Sorry, I read ahead. Should have read ahead. In the bathroom. She She had been beaten to death with a heavy footstool. Mary was still in her pajamas. Police believe the motive was robbery, and she was likely killed between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. When neighbors didn't hear from her, they looked in her window and saw an overturned mattress in the bedroom. According to law enforcement, several good fingerprints were collected and over 200 people were interviewed in her case. It's believed 3 to 4 men were involved in the robbery homicide. Mary was an 80-year-old widow who resided alone at the time. She was born February 15th of 1892 in Texas. And Mary Davis Knowles. She preferred to be called Myrtle. Okay, sorry, I guess her full name. Mary went on to marry Robert Sears Davis in 1921, who passed away in 1966. They had 4 children together. Sorry. I'm going to have to split screens. Give me a second, guys. As I'm having a hard time squinting. I don't know why I did that way. Don't ask me. Okay. Where were we at? In 1992 in Texas, Mary Myrtle Knowles. Yeah, we're just going to call her Mary. Mary went on to marry Robert Sears Davis in 1921, who passed away in 1966. They had 4 children together. If you have any information in the murder of Mary Davis, please call the OSBI at 1-800-522-8017. You can remain anonymous. He ran away. You know how he is, far. Yeah. Beaten to death. Okay. I know there's at least one video. And there might be more than that. I might actually get for YouTube. Am I back? Yes, okay. I'm now doxing what I watch. That's scary. Just a second. Here we go. At any given day, you can find me at any of these given YouTubers. See if anyone. Only one up is mine. You've got to be kidding me. So these are all through a website. Okay. We can do this. Sorry, y'all. I like to myself while I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing next. I want you small. And I want you big because you're going to come over here over top of me. And I think this is all the same there. Okay. Come on. I'll just make it. Hey, Gash. Oh, gosh, don't get us started over here, Jiminy's. So many rumors. I thought it was on YouTube, but I couldn't find it.
It was June of 1972 when then 10-year-old Dionne Olive was at her home in Wichita Falls, Texas. The phone rang and it was her father who told the family shocking news about her grandmother.
And we didn't know the ramifications until the next day when he told us that she had been murdered. Being a young, innocent child, it just did not seem real.
Mary Davis was found dead inside her home in Davis, Oklahoma. The OSBI was requested by local law enforcement to assist with the investigation. It was determined that Davis suffered from numerous head and facial wounds inflicted by a blunt instrument.
It did not seem real that this sweet, gentle woman could possibly be murdered. I mean, who would do that to her? She didn't have an enemy in the world. She was the kindest person.
It's now been over 50 years since Davis's murder, but still no answers. Dionne says her family won't give up until her grandmother's killer is identified.
The grandkids have all waited a lifetime for justice. It just made me so happy to realize that, yes, grandmother is still important. BI that they didn't give up.
The OSBI Cold Case Unit has continued to search for those responsible for Davis's murder. We ask that anyone with information on this case to email us at tips@osbi.ok.gov.
I think this one's the same one, but we're going to see. Yeah, it's just the Facebook side of it. Okay. And that's all I've got on that case. Y'all, I'm not just running on YouTube. I'm also running on Rumble. Oh, it hurt. But I got my main mod in here, Cash, I see, and then I have other good mods in here as well. So that's all for that. There's another murder in Davis as well. That's another cold case. I would have to go find all the info on it. YouTube, behave. Be nice. Oh, and act right. If he didn't love you, he wouldn't be mean to you. I've learned. My only troll. I don't know about that one. Yeah. I don't know what I'm sharing or why. Give me a second. See, this is why I need a co-host. I swear. All right, here's another Oklahoma cold case. We'll find out if this one will get me in trouble or not. At this point, I never see me becoming monetized anyway. But that's not why I do it. What did I miss? I'm over here messing with stuff, not reading chat.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle Holland, and I am back with another true crime video. And unfortunately, I'm sure you can hear it, but I am sick yet again. My immune system seems to have just totally absconded. So at this point, I am so used to it that I am just rolling through the punches, and we are going to dive right into this video. So today we're speaking about a case that you guys are probably very familiar with. This case has been covered so many different times. There's documentaries on it, there's podcasts on it, multiple YouTube videos on it. Everyone seems to know about this case, and it's because it is so bizarre. The circumstances are just absolutely baffling. Family's life leading up to the disappearance, like every detail seems so incredible.
Well, yeah, sure. Somebody asked me for a link. Hey, bitch, I'll come up here and sit with you. Give me a minute. Why is it acting stupid? Why is it? I tried. Can you get? I didn't think Restream liked you too much. The Jameson family. And I'm trying to also figure out why it's not letting me share the link or even type, for that matter. I don't want it in the stream. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to push my... All right. Everything was being nice to me. I pushed myself out the window. I'm okay. I fell on my feet. I'm like a cat. I'm back. After I was requesting the link. Mark was here earlier. There he is. Oh. I should be back. Am I not back? Can you guys not hear me? It was being nice. Was being nice. Hey, small town girl. Can you guys hear me? Put a one in the chat, please, and thank you. If you can hear me. I wonder if whenever Act Right, then was acting up, she might have blocked some people. Well, I know small town can hear me. Okay, good. I'm back. I made it back. There's the link if anyone wants to come up and hang. Earlier I went over Mary Davis. It was a murder in Davis, Oklahoma that happened in 1972. She was 81 years of age. When someone broke into her house, robbed her, they think it was 3 to 4 men. I'm wondering if there's too many people trying to use the internet here in my house. With that being the case, can I run off the hotspot? If I have to, I can. Okay. Yep, cold. And it's going to start into the Jameson family and they showed up. Hello. You know someone that Jameson case? That one's our weird and odd and bizarre case. I have went over it through trivia with Ed several different times, and there's several different weird things with it. Well, I don't know what was going on. I'm sorry, Act Right. I'm gonna cry that you didn't get up here. Okay. Hey, act right. Yeah, it's restream it. Don't like people. Have Mama Bear send me your email over because it's not letting me. For some reason, it told me it was invalid when I entered it twice. Well, we started doing it around 7 my time, which is Central Standard. 8 o'clock his time. We go for about an hour and 30 minutes. Uh-huh. Finally. Thank you. Okay, I got it. Since it's not being nice to either one of us today. Like I said, I know how YouTube likes throwing people out the window. Or not YouTube, but Restream or not letting them up, period. Back to what I was doing here. Is it? Okay. I don't feel comfortable sharing her stuff, though. I'm for a smaller channel to share, guy. Honestly. Give me 1 minute.
Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and today we're going to look at the death of the Jameson family. That would be the parents and this poor little child. This is a huge favorite with YouTubers. I had no idea that it was so popular. But hey, was it Christine? Have I got that straight here? Hold on a second. Christine was the one who recommended it to me. And I'm not sure, maybe other people have too, but just came in recently, say, hey, do this. And then I decided I would look into it. And then I saw this massive amount of YouTubers doing this Jameson family because it's never been solved. And for good reason, because it's odd. It's very, very odd. The parents have odd issues, to use the word odd again.
Not use court TV. Let's see what else I can find. Who else might have done it? I wish whenever Arctic and Diego went over it that they would have done it as individual stuff. Because then it made it easier for me to go, okay, I can share that. Because I know Diego won't strike me, for one. Well, let's just hope Danielle doesn't strike me. That's where we're at with that then. Because I don't know any of the other ones.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle Holland, and I am back with another true crime video. And unfortunately, I'm sure you can hear it, but I am sick yet again. My immune system seems to have just totally absconded. So at this point, I am so used to it that I am just rolling. Not just one, but two oncoming
give me a
vehicles.
thumbs up.
And this accident severely
hey,
injured
how are
his
you,
back. And this was
sweetheart?
not something that he was simply going to snap back from. Unfortunately, months passed and Bobby ended up being in chronic pain due to his back injury. And he was heavily relying on medication to even help him accomplish simple tasks around the house on a daily basis. Because of this, he was forced to give up his career. He had to go on to disability because of the amount of pain that he was in. I can only imagine how scary of a situation that must have been. First of all, even hoping that Bobby was going to be okay after this accident with a newborn baby. And then on top of that, he ends up not being able to work anymore. That puts a lot of stress when it comes to income, making sure they can take care of Madison. That is a lot to go through. But the Jamesons were determined as ever to
Okay, not a problem.
push forward with their lives. So in July of 2004, they decided to make the trip to Arizona and the couple got married. From there, they settled into a lakeside home in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and continued raising their daughter and building their dream life. But the following years seemed to just bring on more challenges. It honestly feels like this family never got a break at all. Sherilyn had struggled for years at this point with bipolar.
See, I wish YouTube and Rumble would let me bring someone up with me. Because I need to get up and do some things. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this without getting struck because I want to do, the right break times and stuff like that.
bipolar disorder. And according to her family, she was known to go on and off her medication, which is not something at all that is uncommon. Unfortunately, a lot of the different medications that are used for things like bipolar disorder can have really unsavory side effects. And when you feel better, you get this feeling that, okay, well, I don't need to take this medication anymore. I'm fine now. I don't need these bad side effects. I don't need this, that, and the other that are going on. You've got family threats. You don't feel safe. You're struggling.
And I got too many in here for me to run off and leave. Hmm. Trying to figure out what to do. But I need to get up and do something really quick. Guys, I'll be right back. Give me about a 5-minute break. Let me see what I can go find that I can trust playing without getting struck. I can probably find something on my phone. I can play over the case. There we go. There's more than one way to skin a rabbit. You don't have to worry about leaving you guys by yourselves. If they'll play. I turned it down. Not that loud.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy day, happy spooky season. I hope you're having chronic back pain, and it led him to not be able to work, so he was collecting disability. Oh, wow. And then in 2007, Sherilyn's sister died from a bee sting on her tongue. It was like a freak accident.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And Sherilyn, immensely after her sister's death, she was eventually hospitalized after she attempted to take her own life. And she was then diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So she was also not working, receiving disability.
Mm-hmm. That's so sad.
It is. And then in 2009, Sherilyn's son's father got full-time custody of him. So he moved back in with his father, and that also meant that the Jamesons stopped giving child support because, he wasn't living with them anymore. Right. So this kind of impacted their financial hardships. I mean, neither of them were working. They were collecting disability. That's not the same as working.
Yeah, very minimal.
And they're also not able to function very well. I mean, Bobby has a bad back. Sherilyn is suffering with her mental health. So it's not just affecting their work and their ability to bring in money. It's affecting a lot of their life.
Everything, yeah.
In 2009, the family was considering buying land near Red Oak, Oklahoma, about 50 miles away from their home in Eufaula. And they basically wanted to sell their home, and they were going to purchase the land and then move this giant storage shed that they had on their property already to the land and live in that until they could make enough money to build a house.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'd been considering buying this land near the Sambwa Mountains in Oklahoma for some time. And on October 8th, 2009, they headed to Red Oak to look at the 40-acre plot of land they were considering buying.
Wow, that's a lot of land.
Yeah. The family's home surveillance system showed them packing up the car that day. Both Sherilyn and Bobby were making several trips from inside to the pickup truck. And it seemed like they were packing tons of stuff, but they were just making multiple trips. And it would later be said that their movement of packing up the car were trance-like. But I want to note that this is also an after the fact observation. So, they might have just been like, who knows, like putting stuff in the car and forgetting things. They might have just been packing up the car slowly, like they're not in any rush. It's
sorry, I was just gonna say, as a person who often packs our van up for family trips by myself, just because usually, like, when Matt gets off work, we immediately leave, so I have to do it, and I take multiple trips, not just because it's me, just because I'm constantly forgetting stuff, and he has a bad bag, so he's probably very limited to, like, what he can carry.
to carry things.
So, yeah, I mean, I didn't see the
so
video, so I can't really speak on it, but
the video has been shared, so I will include it on our Instagram and Facebook post for this case, so you can watch it yourself. I mean, it definitely seems like maybe something's off, but it's also not, to
maybe
me,
they're fighting.
like the most suspicious thing. Yeah.
How it is.
We'll talk about later some of the theories that this led to.
Right.
But what did stand out to investigators also was that at one point, Sherilyn is seen placing a brown briefcase in the car, and that was kind of weird. And again, we'll talk about that some more later.
Okay.
But the family's car pulled away from their house, and they were never seen or heard from again.
So crazy.
Now, at first, they weren't reported missing because the family was kind of quiet. They were known to not really socialize much with neighbors and friends. They had actually pulled Madison out of school recently, and it is said that the Jamesons were planning to sue the school, but investigators were never able to figure out why or like find any actual, legal trail of this happening. So it's very unclear why they pulled her out of the school, but she wasn't enrolled in the school anymore. So it wasn't like the school reported her missing or anything like that.
That's interesting, especially considering they all go missing. So it's like, what was really going on,
Yeah. The family was known to occasionally like go on trips without telling anyone. So no one noticed really that they were missing right away until a few days later when their truck was found. On October 17th, the Jamesons family pickup truck was found just south of Quinta, Oklahoma, which is about 30 miles southeast of Eufaula, and it's on the way to Red Oak, where it is believed they were headed that day. There were no signs of foul play or break-in at the truck, so investigators believed they were planning to return to the truck. And this was further believed because the truck's doors were locked with the key in the ignition.
Okay,
and inside was Maisie, the family's dog.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was clear that she hadn't been fed for several days. And so investigators were like, they were planning on going back. And just so you know, Maisie was fine. She ended up living with either Bobby or Sherilyn's mom, and she's okay. She survived. But it was very bizarre. Now, my immediate thought was, why are the keys in the ignition?
Yeah.
But same. Car doors are locked? Okay. This confused me, but my husband's family's truck, which is a 2006 Ford F-150, so before this, it came out before this happened, so it's possible that the Jamesons had a pickup truck around the same year.
Yeah.
It has a keypad on the outside of the driver's door, so you can punch in a code to unlock it.
Yep.
So you can leave the keys inside and then punch in a code, and that'll unlock it. So that's probably, I'm guessing it was something like that. They were planning on doing some walking around, and we'll talk about in a minute what their GPS actually showed. And so they just left the keys inside, so it was one less thing to carry.
Yeah.
Also found in the truck were their wallets, phones, IDs, and their GPS system, along with their other belongings, except for that brown briefcase.
Oh.
Now, even more bizarre, though, was the fact that about $32,000 in cash was found inside the truck.
What?
Now, this is odd for two reasons. One, the family was not known to carry around large amounts of money.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some financial hardships. It was very bizarre. But two, they were clearly not targeted for a robbery because the money was still inside the car. Also missing was Sherilyn's handgun. They didn't know if she had brought brought it with her or not, but it was also not found in the house. So that has also never been found.
That's not good.
After the truck was found, authorities started searches around the family's home and near where the truck was found. Over 400 authorities and volunteers scoured the remote area for any sign of the Jamesons. And the search included cadaver dogs, a drone, ATVs, and horses and mules, along with the foot search, but nothing was found. Now, I mentioned the GPS. After they recovered the truck, investigators found like a handheld GPS inside, and this actually gave them a lot more insight into the family's last couple of hours after they left their home. Life is complicated, and more often than not, our health and weight loss goals take a backseat. Insurance can be confusing, and it's hard to know what is covered and where to even begin when it comes to weight loss. That's where Rose Insurance Checker comes in. It is built to make things easier. It's free, simple, and will help you move forward with your goals.
Rose Insurance Checker.
So what do you guys think so far? I know Suzette said she knows a little bit about the case and stuff. Do you guys find it odd so far?
Take care of the rest. No paperwork, no hassle, no waiting on hold.
What we've
They will
heard
send you a
about the Jameson
comprehensive
family?
report of your coverage so you can make a decision that's right for your goals. And they'll help you navigate through that.
And plus, I didn't want you guys to
You
have
can
to
try
sit through an
out
ad.
Rose's free insurance checker today. Go to ro.co/for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/.
Oh.
If your insurance covers GLP-1s for free.
Go to ro.co/safety for Oxford full safety information.
Today's episode is brought to you by Alma. If you know us, then you know we are huge advocates for mental health care. Mental health challenges can feel isolating, but you don't have to go through them alone.
Oh.
Which is why I am so excited to tell
That was
you
weird.
about Alma.
Never had that
Alma,
happen
spelled
before while I was
ALMA,
live.
is on a mission to simplify access to high-quality, affordable
OMG.
Personally, I love going
I thought
to
YouTube
therapy.
ads were
I know how
bad.
difficult it can be to do while busy with everyday life. Finding a therapist can feel intimidating because you want to find the right one, and you want to find one that won't cost
Can I
you
not just
an arm
skip
and
a
leg.
little?
I love Alma because they have a community of over 20 Be Expensive, and Alma can help you access ALMA. My son is a picky eater. Fewer sketchy ingredients,
Which is so
OMG.
important to me. I love to pay it
too. And now is the perfect time to try it out.
10% off your first order.
And they actually met with the landowner. This man came forward saying he had met with the family. Everything seemed fine. They were in good spirits, and he was never considered a suspect. So they met with the landowner, and then nearby they went for a 15-minute walk with their GPS until they sat down on a hillside for a little bit of time. Returned to the car, drove a little further, and then at that point the GPS was left inside of the locked truck. Now, investigators immediately believed that the Jameson family had not left on their own accord and that they had met with foul play. But with very little evidence and no indication as to where the family members were, the case went cold, and unfortunately it stayed that way for the next 4 years.
Not only that, but like, what's the motive? It's a family. It's a dad, a mom, and a daughter.
A child, yeah.
So
And
it seems
their
weird,
money and
like-
all their belongings were still there.
Right.
Their truck wasn't smashed into or anything, so clearly they left their truck with the intent to return. Very bizarre. And this led to a lot of theories surfacing over the years. Now, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, we're going to go through a lot of different theories. None of them have been proven.
What I tried? Did I do something wrong? Sister Sue. I'm telling you, there are some crazy cases here in Oklahoma, especially cold cases. that if you look at them and you try to go down the rabbit holes, it would drive you insane. Quite literally insane. Like I said, there's a lot of them around here that are like, I would like to find someone to pair up with who enjoyed true crime, because there's a lot of cases I would love to cover, but I don't have the confidence in just my research skills alone to do so. If that makes any sense.
And these have all kind of developed over the years, but we're just going to go through all of them. The first theory is a connection to Bobby's family, specifically his father, Bob Dean Jameson. Just months before the family disappeared, Bobby was entangled in a lawsuit battle with his father, and Bobby had also filed a protection order for his family against his father. The protection order claimed that Bob Dean had threatened the family and had struck him with his vehicle in November.
Act right. I mean, anytime you want to do something, I don't have to do it on Restream. I can go to StreamYard. I just prefer Restream because I can dual stream it out, because I don't just have to stick with YouTube. I do YouTube and Rumble that way. You know, because there's not a lot of true crime stories out here on Rumble. That's what I've been looking for, is someone who wants to team up as a pair and do true crime. I don't want to do the bullshit drama of it, because when you get down to it, at the end of the day, all there's left is hurt feelings, and the next day, a new attack. I can't keep doing it. Mentally, I can't.
The protection order claimed that Bob Dean had threatened the family and had struck him with his vehicle in November 2008 and again in April 2009. Gosh. So that was the reason for the protection order. And then the reason for the lawsuit was because basically he had not been paid. So Bob Dean owned a gas station, and Bobby worked there basically for free, with the understanding that they would split the store's earnings in half. But Bobby said he never got paid, so he was suing his father for half of the profit. Now, Bobby had also apparently made allegations that his father was involved in meth dealing and other criminal activity. It's unclear if any of this is true, but their legal battle had turned bitter. So when the family disappeared, of course, this led to speculation that Bob Dean may have been involved. Now, 2 months after the family disappeared, Bob Dean actually died at age 67. He had been in poor health, so his death was not considered suspicious or anything like that. And Bob Dean's brother, Jack, said that he was either in a hospital or on like home rest at the end of his life, and was like, there's no way he was capable of being involved with the family's disappearance.
Yeah.
So investigators do not believe this to be true. There is still some suspicion if maybe something Bob Dean was involved in potentially got back to the Jamesons, but
Right.
you know, it's not really believed that anything having to do with Bobby's father led to their disappearance. Now, another theory is that the Jamesons were drug dealers. So a couple of things pointed to this. First of all, the large amount of money that was found in their vehicle. They had no reason to have that large amount of money, or so it seemed. But then you have to think about the fact that they were going to look at land that they were considering purchasing.
Right.
So they might have pulled that money out in anticipation of making a purchase that day. But still, it's weird to have a large amount of cash in your possession. So that was kind of a big thing. And then also the odd behavior seen in the surveillance footage. Now, again, you can't definitively say anything from that footage because you don't know what was going on. Can't see them directly doing anything very suspicious, but people have pointed to the fact that, one, either they were trying to slowly load drugs into the car if they were drug dealers, or two,
Okay.
they were under the influence of drugs and that was leading to these weird behaviors.
Did they find drugs at their home after the fact?
No, and we will talk more about the drug theory later, but there were
Okay.
no drugs or drug paraphernalia found at their home.
Okay, then I'm not buying it. I mean, unless they got rid of everything, because they knew they were gonna disappear. I mean,
But how?
but why go to the property? Why
Yeah.
waste your time with all of that if that was just a car? You know, like I don't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. No, I'm not buying that.
No, me neither. And there were other theories as well, like the fact that they had faked their own deaths, that they had been moved into witness protection because of a crime they saw take place, or that they had died by group suicide. But there was no evidence pointing to any of these theories.
Yeah, that was my thought too when you said that the mom had struggled. Maybe they were just all. I mean, obviously the child wasn't, but you know, maybe they were just couldn't do it anymore. But where are their bodies? Like, if they did that, I'm not laughing, but I'm saying like if they did that, they would be somewhere.
They would be somewhere, and they wouldn't be well concealed. Now, what also started to come up in the years that the case went cold was that the Jamesons had kind of been acting off before their disappearance.
Okay.
Allegedly, they had told their pastor on separate occasions that they had seen spirits in their home and that their house was haunted.
Hey,
So
Paula.
allegedly, Madison, the daughter, had started talking. Allegedly, they had told their pastor on separate occasions that they had seen spirits in their home and that their house was haunted.
Yeah.
So allegedly, Madison, the daughter, had started talking to an imaginary friend named Emily, and Cheryl Lynn believed Emily was an evil entity.
What's up, tomorrow?
And allegedly,
Fried
Bobby
chicken?
actually asked the pastor where he could
oven
purchase
baked
special
chicken that you
bullets
have to
to
eat for
shoot
dinner?
the spirits living on his rooftop.
What?
What are my other options?
I don't know. Go look.
Okay.
Bobby was also
You make yourself oatmeal.
allegedly reading from the Satanic
Want to switch
Bible.
blankets for a night?
Huh?
Want to switch
He
blankets
allegedly
for a night?
told
No.
the pastor that he was reading from it
You
and
wanna
wanted
try
to
this?
exorcise the spirits. in
No,
his
I don't
house.
want to try switch you
What's the wrong
blankets.
Bible, baby?
Why?
Because
That's the wrong one.
Why?
no.
And then
Wow.
a friend of Sherilyn's also told police that she had been acting odd before the disappearance. So apparently the two had conducted seances together, but the friend said Sherilyn took them much more seriously. And then the friend also told police that Sherilyn had believed that someone in their neighborhood had killed her cats. And Sherilyn had actually graffitied, like written on their storage container on their property about.
Okay, for you, Sean Williams is the guy who harmed children up there in Tennessee, right? Around the same time Summer went missing. And Mr. Cole doesn't want dinner tonight. Yay. A normal fight. Oh.
Their cats being poisoned, including witches do not like it when their cats are killed.
Oh my gosh. That's so. Okay, so maybe there is
Vicious
some
behavior.
Yeah, something. I was like, drugs. I mean, I guess if you're.
Well, that's what I thought it was. Farr was the guy that had harmed children or had harmful paraphernalia on children up there when they're Tennessee. Up in Tennessee whenever Summer went missing. You want to know my honest opinion on Summer Wells' case? And Candace, if you're in here, you know I love you and you know you have my heart. But my honest opinion on Summer Wells' case is that poor baby got off those woods, got lost, and God only knows what got her. If it wasn't the elements like the little boy down in Alabama. That's my honest opinion. That's what I thought was he was the creep. Broke out of jail and everything. But I honestly think Candace had her back turned. Someone went out that back door and off she went. You know, I don't think there's any conspiracy behind it. I don't think anyone kidnapped her. Now, I have went down the rabbit holes on Sarah Wells's case. Not gonna lie, right here, me. Yes, I did. But the more and more I look at it, the more I go, well, since I don't believe the parents did it. Oh, and I'm choking on these words. Mama Bear, this sucks. Now I know how you feel sometimes. But if Candace didn't do it and Dawn didn't do it, that only leaves Jody Sue, Fred, that people look at suspiciously, or Hunter and Hunter's family. Because if everyone remembers correctly, Allie and Candace were fighting at the time Summer went missing. They had been fighting for weeks because Allie had let her, I guess the oldest, have an affair with a guy who was of age, and Candace was bitching about it. You know, and that stuff people don't realize is Allie and Candace were fighting. I still don't understand why Allie let Hunter go with Candace that day. Because at that point in time, that's whenever Candace had called CPS on Allie because Allie was letting those kids, or that daughter of hers, have that affair with that older guy. That's the reason why I always went back to Allie's family looked dirty to me. Is because of that. You're fighting with her, but you're going to let your son go with her to go take grandma to the hospital or go take summer swimming and go run a few errands. I thought it was over. I remember back whenever it all first started, I thought it was over the fact of the CPS call. Either way, they were fighting. Either over Jose or over the CPS call or whatever it might have been. Right? Because I don't think we're ever going to get the truth out of it. Well, now Allie's gone, but out of anyone in the whole case, including Hunter. So why would you let your child go with someone that you're fighting with? Unless you had something else planned. And you wanted to know exactly how much time you guys had to pull off that plan. Exactly. That's where my questions have always lied, Allie. Act right is the fact of all that. Why would you let your child go if you're already having problems with each other? Unless you needed to know the time frame of when the child was home. It's just that simple. Back to the Jameson family. I'm sorry I got on a bandwagon and threw out my opinions without being asked. I'm talking about the one where Candace called it in because I don't remember which kid. Is Bear the oldest? Is that the one, Hunter's sister, the oldest sister? Not the baby, but the oldest. She was like 14, 15 at the time, and she was dating a 20-year-old or messing with a 20-year-old. I don't know, but I'll ask next time I talk to her. She tried calling us earlier, but it was too late for me to answer. I was about to go live, and I was like, eh. And Mama Bear told her she'd call a bit. And I never heard the phone ring, so I don't know if Mama Bear called her privately or if it was through the group. Yeah, we got off topic.
If you're, taking some kind of upper type drug, something that's a stimulant, like.
Yeah, that's what I thought Bear was the oldest. True. That one. True was the one that Allie was letting mess with a guy that was much older and Candace called CPS. Is what I heard very, very early on. I'd have to go figure out who I heard it through. It has to be one of the 3 different groups, maybe 4. I don't know if J is for Justice, if I can find her Everyday with J stuff or not. If Everyday J, if I can go find her J is for Justice stuff or not. Yeah, well, see, before she said anything about it, it had came out. And I don't remember if it was Dawn who spoke on it. It had to have been Dawn because Candace really didn't speak a lot throughout the case, except for when her Dawn was in jail, and that was just a little bit. So it had to have been Dawn who said it before Grandbun said anything. Because it was before Dawn went to jail, I can tell you that much. Yes, they were. Between Allie's family, Candace, and Jody Sue, they basically, anytime one of them did something they didn't like that the other one did, they would call CPS. On the other.
You're staying
like
up
making you
for days on it. Yeah. But then I'm also like, maybe they had like mold poisoning or something, and they were just.
That's a possibility too.
I don't know. That's very bizarre behavior.
Yeah. But, they didn't know what this meant or how it could connect to their disappearance, so their case was cold.
Yeah, what do you do with that? I mean,
yeah, there's nothing to prove anything. Until November 2013. Some people were hunting in a remote area of Latimer County, Oklahoma, when they discovered 3 sets of skeletal remains.
No.
Now, this location was less than 3 miles away from where the Jamesons' pickup truck had been located over 4 years earlier. So, of course, this connection immediately led investigators and the public to assume the bodies found were the Jameson family. But because of the state of the remains.
Okay, so what I think on that was, okay, so Bear would have been the one that they sent to the mental ward, right? Because, see, Don talked on that too. He talked on that back whenever everyone threw a ring till fit, where he talked on, Brandy Neal and all that stuff.
Of the remains, it took some time to positively identify the bodies. Over 7 months later, on July 3rd, 2014, the medical examiner's office was finally able to confirm through anthropological and forensic pathological testing that the remains belonged.
What, Mr. Cole?
How many times do I have to tell you, leave mine in Grandma's bathroom light on? She wants it left on.
I didn't use her bathroom last.
Then what turned off the light?
Well, it would have been either her or
It was on earlier.
what's her name? Because I didn't go to y'all's bathroom. I went to my bathroom.
Oh, I guess it could have been her. I know, because the light's been on.
Or you turned it off.
I did not turn it off. I haven't even
Well,
been in there.
I don't know. Go. Oh, my Jiminy's.
Now there's no explanation for it, and now I'm scared to walk into it.
Oh, my bathroom's safe.
Mom, you're doing it.
Doing what?
You're turning it on.
All you gotta do is reach in there by the door and flip it on, son. Oh. I'm glad I was never this big of a pain in the ass when I was younger. But I have some questions for you, Act Right. What are in those mountains that everyone's so scared of? I mean, realistically, what's in those mountains that everyone's so scared of? I don't know what that's supposed to be. Because that's how that shows up on my end. But then again, I still want to know about the damn rooster.
Remains belonged to 44-year-old Bobby Jameson, 40-year-old Cheryl Lynn Jameson, and 6-year-old Madison Jameson.
Oh.
Now, because of the state of the remains, their cause and manners of death could not be determined. So it has not ever officially been ruled if they died by accident, if they took their own lives. It was too difficult to know.
And also, how did they not come across their remains? They're that close to the truck.
And we'll talk
Okay.
or I'll just talk about it now. So it's unclear if the bodies had been at that location since the disappearance, because there was an extensive search.
Yeah.
It's possible that their bodies were not there, but their bodies were buried in pretty well concealed graves. Exposure to elements and animals over the years ended up revealing skeletons. You know, the search that was conducted was a thorough search, but it's also October in Oklahoma. The weather is not the best. If thing is concealed relatively well with leaves and dirt and sticks and things like that, you might not notice like upturned earth or anything like that.
Right.
And the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation had actually officially said that falling leaves potentially obscured the bodies during the initial search. So it is believed that they were there from the time they disappeared.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
Now, only partial remains were found, and this is because of the elements and animals.
Yeah.
They were able to find 3 different skulls, but Bobby's was the only complete skull, and then there were only a few other bones found. In Bobby's skull, there was a small hole in the back of his skull, and this could potentially point to the fact that he was shot, but it had been so long, the remains had been exposed to the elements and animals for so long that they couldn't definitively determine that. And because the other 2 skulls found were not full skulls, they couldn't say that the other 2 did or did not have matching holes.
Dang.
And it could have literally just been from an animal like biting into that part. They don't know.
Yeah.
But while there is no definitive evidence or ruling, the wide theory today is that the Jamison family met with foul play and were murdered. Unfortunately, with the lack of forensic evidence in the case, the investigation at this point relies on theories. And the biggest theory today is the drug deal gone wrong theory, which we talked a little bit about earlier, but let's talk a little bit more about this in depth.
Okay.
So the area around the Sanborn Mountains where the family was looking to move and where they were found is known for its drug activity, especially the presence of meth labs. And the family's bizarre trance-like trips while packing up the car could have indicated that they were scared or in trouble because maybe somebody was forcing them to leave quickly, get rid of all their supplies, something like that. Or, like I said earlier, they could have been under the influence of drugs. But, well, like I also said earlier, there was nothing found in their car or home, no illegal substances, no paraphernalia, nothing at all.
And that, even if you like scrubbed your house down, I feel like there would still be something.
Mm-hmm.
Something. You know, you're not that good at hiding things. Like, people think they are, but they're not.
And that quickly, like, yes, they took some time packing up their car, but would they really be able to get rid of everything that quickly?
I don't think so.
And all of their belongings were still in the car, except for the drugs that were allegedly there.
And where's the briefcase? What was in the briefcase? Like, was it money? Were they meeting somebody for something? Whether it was a drug deal or a, you know, buy us off, don't kill us deal. Like, I mean,
there's a lot of suspicion surrounding that. And, you know, this theory also has some credence because of the fact that they were unemployed. Maybe they needed a way to make more money. They had that cash in their car. But then again, we know they went to look to buy land, and that landowner confirmed, yes, they were here checking out the land. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe they did 2 things that day.
Yeah, but there is no evidence that the Jamisons were using, buying, or selling drugs. And while this is kind of like the most believed theory, I don't think it is for investigators because there's just no evidence.
Yeah, nothing to point to that.
Another theory comes from Sherilyn's mom, Connie, who has said that she believes the family got involved with a cult and were murdered by violent members.
I mean, based on some of the other details you've given, I could see that. It's plausible.
I could explain them wanting to move, maybe get off the grid, pulling Madison out of school.
Yeah.
I don't know. She has not named anyone or any group, and there's no other evidence of this theory, but I mean, at this point, anything is plausible.
Yeah.
Another heartbreaking theory is that the family's death was a murder-suicide situation.
Yeah.
Investigators found a letter at the home that Sherilyn had written to Bobby. It was 11 pages long and reportedly was angry in nature, saying she hated him and hated how he was a hermit. So police speculated that it's possible that Bobby had driven his family into the woods and then murdered his wife and daughter before taking his own life, or that Sherilyn had killed her husband and daughter before taking her own life. And she was known for outbursts due to her mental illness and avoidance of taking her medication. But if either of these situations were the case, where was the gun? There was no gun found at the scene, no bullets, no nothing.
A weapon.
And while, yes, it had been some time, animals aren't going to touch a gun. They might move it around a little bit, but it's going to be somewhere.
It's going to be around, yeah.
And the remains were kind of scattered in an area. So they did search all around because they're looking for more and more skeletal remains.
Right.
So where is the gun?
I mean, unless
also,
they
why did they leave the dog in the car?
Yeah,
there were too many questions with this theory to me for it to make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to like poison themselves essentially, and that doesn't seem very realistic.
Yeah, no. There is also a theory that the family was killed in an attempted kidnapping of Madison. Now, I don't think there's any credence to this theory, but it stems from a photo of Madison taken on the day they disappeared on Bobby's phone. And I'll share the photo with you guys. In the photo, it was taken, they believe, on the walk before they went missing. And people think that Madison looks scared and upset in the photo and point to the fact that she's not looking at the camera. So they're basically like, somebody else took the photo, forced the family back to the car, who knows? Now, a dried flower was allegedly found with Madison's remains. So people were like, maybe this alleged kidnapper left it. But it had been so many years and the remains were so scattered that I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, if you look at the photo, it just looks like a 6-year-old giving attitude. Maybe she didn't want to be out walking anymore and wanted to go home. Like, it doesn't look that
or maybe
suspicious.
they were fighting and she was like kind of freaked out, you know, like anything could have happened. They could have, you know, it could have been a very tense situation leading up to whatever happened.
Yeah. So it's just not, I don't think that theory really makes any sense.
Yeah.
Now, there's one more big theory that we're going to talk about. I don't know. We'll just talk about it. So there's a theory that white supremacists connected to a family friend of the Jamesons were who killed them.
Okay.
So
like KKK members or
not clear what group. But a man named Kenneth Bellows had been working as a handyman, and he had actually been staying with the Jamesons for some time in August 2009. Now, allegedly, this man, Kenneth Bellows, was a white supremacist and had white supremacist leanings. And allegedly, eventually he learned that Sherilyn had Native American history and that these leanings he had started to come out, leading to arguments. And allegedly, Sherilyn threatened him with her gun, shooting the floor by his feet and forcing him to leave the house.
Okay. I mean,
now Kenneth Bellows himself had an alibi, a solid alibi, and he was ruled out as a suspect. But if he had connections to white supremacist groups, it's possible that Sherilyn's name may have been on some sort of hit list, making her family a target. So it's just a theory, and there's no evidence of this. But in a case with this many unknowns, you have to look at every angle.
Every angle, yeah. And that would be motive. I mean, you know, she was, I think, you know, maybe not wrong for what she did, but
yeah,
you know, that's motive.
Yeah, it is. You know that one task you've been putting off since forever? I know we all have them, and if that's strong.
When isn't she up to her shit, Mama Bear?
Whether it's your first time in, they offer both virtual time during the day to take care of.
Depending on their play and coverage vary by state and medicine. That's why we keep surprises up. Then, of course, there's the possibility that the family either got hurt on their hike or that they got lost and ended up dying from hypothermia because, we don't know how they actually died. Or there's the possibility that they encountered some psychopath who just decided to kill them in the woods.
Yeah.
There were a lot of leads. Then Latimer County Sheriff Israel Beaucamp said at the time, quote, "A lot of investigators would love to have as many leads as we do. The problem is they point in so many different directions."
Mm-hmm.
And that remains true of the case today. There are so many directions, so many theories, but so little evidence. And what happened to the Jamison family remains a mystery to this day. Investigators are always looking for help from the public as they are still investigating this case as much as they can. And anyone who may have any information about this case can contact the Latimer Police Department at 918-465-2161. But it is just the most bizarre thing how they disappeared. They were found years later, and nobody knows what happened to them.
Yeah. I hope that they are able to recover the remaining remains.
Remaining remains.
For one, obviously, so their family can, lay them to rest in their entirety. But also, I feel like maybe if they found, the rest of their skull or, whatever's missing, it might be telling as to what happened to them, like if it was a gunshot or even a stab wound or something of that nature.
Or blunt force trauma or anything. Like I was thinking of the show Bones and how they look at the literal bones and can tell so much. And I feel like at some point this case, if the resources become available and it could get, looked at by some anthropological expert like that, then maybe they could determine what happened because there might be some small indication. But it's just so hard because the remains were in nature for so long. They know that animals scoured them because they were scattered. And so you have to rule out all of those other factors before you can even say anything on the remains has to do with their deaths.
Yeah.
But whatever was going on in their lives, Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison Jamison were just trying to live. And they, I believe, met with foul play. I don't think it was any type of murder-suicide situation. I don't think it was an accident. I think they somehow met with foul play. There are theories that, and I didn't talk about these because there's really no evidence to point to this, but some people have theorized maybe the landowner knew that they were carrying this cash around and he sent someone after them or, something like that. But we just don't know. And I'm so confused by this case.
I know. That is, it was, when I looked it up, I was like, what?
Yeah, what? I know.
How is there nothing? I can't get behind the murder-suicide thing just because I feel like there would be some sort of evidence to what, in the vehicle, in the woods, if they, like I said, if they poison themselves, there would be a vial or a bottle or something, and a gun or, I don't know. It's just not enough for me to really
believe that theory. And I don't believe the drug theory either, because even if they weren't using drugs and they were just selling drugs or had gotten involved in some sort of drug enterprise, there would be some evidence somewhere in their house, in their car.
Especially meth. Meth sticks onto everything. I mean, it gets in you. It gets I
don't think that theory could be true with absolutely nothing being found.
Yeah.
But, everything is a possibility because nothing has definitively been ruled out. And I really hope that one day the Jamison family will have answers as to what happened to Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison.
Yeah. So sad. Only 6 years old.
I know. It's so sad. But I'd love to hear what you guys think.
Only 6 years old.
I know. We will have a brand new episode for you next week. And until then,
So what do you guys think happened to the Jamison family? Do you think they went out and harmed themselves, or do you guys think foul play? And that would be the whole family. That's the photo they're talking about. That was the last photo that was taken of the little girl. All right, guys, until next time. I've been on for an hour and almost